So, on our way back in, again, if you missed our show, you missed our episode, and you missed the beginning parts of this episode, you missed out on some goodness. You missed out on some amazing conversation. You missed out on a bunch of awesomeness, and you missed out on a couple of conversations that you should have dug into. And I'm actually going to go to this screen. That we were digging into around, Starfield getting delayed, all of those things kind of being in the mix and missing out on so many different conversations there. I think, one of the other parts of that was, how are we talking about diversity and inclusion? How are we talking about the ways that we want to make sure that we're getting all of those things correct and all those things right? And it winds up being something where, some folks are not getting that stuff nailed down. They're not really knocking it out the park in the ways that we had hoped, and they're missing out on a lot of great opportunities to really bridge that gap in a real way, in a ways that we had kind of hoped to see. So sad for them, not for us, because that is not what we need to do. That is one of the things that we are always getting right here on Spawn on Me. One of the things that I definitely want to talk to you all about, because I think it's important and I think it's going to be really cool to dig into. It looks like I missed on one of my graphics here, but I think that's going to be okay. Is the fact that Trek To Yomi is a game that I have been very, very excited about. I think Trek To Yomi is a game that has been pretty brilliant in what we've been able to see and get a chance to play. I have been a huge fan of what they've been able to do in that space and what they've been able to kind of bring to the table with this kind of game. It has been something that I have been playing a bunch of, something that I've been digging into a lot and have been having such fun with. It has been something that, when I think of games that I am hyped for this year or had a chance to play that have been extremely good, this has been one of those games that I have kind of played around in and been like so hyped to see like the idea around a game and then that game be really good. That's the thing that we don't get a chance to see that often these days, is when you get a chance to kind of see the game, get that first teaser trailer and have that pop up and then be like, oh wow, that actually does really look and feel and play well. One of the things I wanted to talk really quickly about with Trek To Yomi is I've been finishing it. I'm actually in the middle of it. It's probably like a 4 to 5 hour game. It's not that long, maybe 8 hours at most. And you're this one character who's in feudal Japan. Your master has been murdered. You're going through the process of, revenging them or getting revenge for them. And I love the art style of this game. I think this game really comes through in a way that I have not seen games like this before, really play well with foreground and background, with black and white as the main element of how this game gets played and how you think about it in that way. I think it does something that is really, really smart, which is you traverse through these set pieces in a way that gives you this ability to see and be a part of the scenes themselves in a way that really makes use of not only the combat well, but also makes you move through a space in this kind of almost diorama-esque feel. Like, yes, everything in the background is kind of static, but that static feels alive in a certain way. It feels like you can go out and touch those pagodas. You can go out and touch the grass literally in those spaces and actually like feel like you're a part of it. The way they just move the camera around the space and you move through it feels just really well done. It is something that I was thinking a lot about with a game like Inside that came out, like 5 or 6 years ago, where that was the pinnacle of kind of using that foreground background space. This game does that in an even better and more beautiful way. I have been really, really just like, happy with my game time with it. happy with the way that the combat feels. The parrying feels a little bit off. It doesn't feel as good as it should. But for the most part, it is a game that I think you should absolutely play. It is on Game Pass. You can go check it out. You can go, mess around with it for a couple of hours, see if it's for you. And if it's not, then, go to something else. But I think it is a game that I think that you should definitely be checking out in terms of interesting kinds of gameplay moments and interesting ways that it does this kind of art. Very few games try to do this. I think Ghost of Tsushima did a really good job, but I think this game even... I'm not going to say it surpasses it. I think it just is different, but I think it does something really, really well that we haven't seen games try in a long time, which I appreciate and love and want to see more games play around in spaces like that. It just feel like you feel like a badass when you're in those samurai spaces and you're doing that work in that way. So I am really hyped for that game. I think Trek to Yomi is really good. I think it does something that is just like super fun and amazing, and definitely go check that thing out on Game Pass. The other game that I am playing right now and I am hyped for is the Evil Dead the game. We had our video that we did for something epic for this month. Please go check that out. Please go check out our YouTube channel and go see that. We had Tim Willits, Chief Creative Officer from Saber Interactive, come on the show and talk about it. And if you're a fan of the Evil Dead, if you're a fan of that world and of that space, this game is fandom and fan service out the wazoo. It is fantastic in what they're trying to do and pulling together not only this 4v1 survivor versus monster kind of gameplay, but they're pulling in all of the stuff that makes Evil Dead really cool as an IP and as a franchise. Like, you're getting multiple versions of Ash, you're getting iconic characters that you get a chance to play, you're getting just fun asymmetric gameplay, and it looks so freaking good. It looks so good. Yes, they put the Raimi version in the game as well. They have different eras of Ash in here, played by Bruce Campbell, also who said that I can't cook, thanks to Greg Miller on the internet. But what is really coming through right now for this game is visually it is beautiful. It is really interesting in the way that it feels from both the survivor standpoint and from the survivor standpoint. When you're playing this game as the Evil Deadites, it is not something where you can be not on your A game. You have to be paying attention to everything that's around you. You have to be using all of your dead powers in a way that feels smart. What also feels great is that you're not just stuck with, the kind of usual, oh, I'm a survivor, and if I'm stuck here, I don't really have a way to get out. There's no thing that pulls it together that's just like, well, I have to sit in this corner and just wait to die. They want you to be not passive in the way that you're playing the game. They want you to be aggressive as a survivor as well, so that you can get through and beat the 3 stages of every round when you're playing it. It's really, really fun. It dropped today as of Friday the 13th, and it just feels extremely good. It is one of my favorite experiences so far this year, even if I'm, just gotten a couple of games in. It just already, as a horror fan, is doing all of that work in a way that just feels really fantastic. I am excited to get more people to play this thing. I'm hoping that they continue to support it. I really like the single player missions. I think the one thing that is the stickler for a lot of folks is that this game is an always online game. It is, I think you have to have an internet connection to really play it because they're doing a lot of stuff in the back end. But the fact that it's crossplay, and the crossplay from what I've heard so far has been working extremely well, that makes me really excited. I'm not worried about those layers of it being, not in the mix. So I'm excited for it. I'm going to play some on stream this weekend and get some games in. Hit me up on Twitter if you want to play, and we'll play some games of Evil Dead together. I want to scare the hell out of all of y'all and play this game with you all and play it because it's so much fun. I'm having a blast with it. So Yeah, that's been a couple of things I've been playing this week. I'll have more words on how that plays and how good it is. I'll have some thoughts about Mother Gunship as well. I've also been playing some of the Halo new season, and I'm not really feeling it. I think they made a mistake by making a lot of that content free-for-all content when you need more people to come in and play it, and free-for-all stuff is super sweaty. I don't know if that's the thing that I would say that would be the best part of that. And also, weirdly, my PlayStation 5, the one that's in my living room, I can't connect it via hardwire anymore. I don't know what happened. I don't know if something broke. Nothing is wrong with my Xbox when I have it hardwired and connected to the internet, but for some reason, I don't know, maybe the port died. Maybe it was a new firmware update that killed the port. I have no clue what's wrong with that thing, and I don't want to factory reset it yet, because that means I got to re-download everything to that thing, but I may have to factory reset it and see if that fixes it. I don't know what the deal is with it. So I'm going to try that this weekend and download everything over Wi-Fi for God knows how long to make that thing work right. So we'll see. But that's been some of the stuff that I've been playing this week, and excited for all of the stuff that I got a chance to mess around with. So before we get up out of here, we're going to go back into a segment that we haven't done in a very long time. One where we go and we either give someone some love or we tell them that they need to do better. And that one is heading over to the cookout.